At the end of the day, I ended up finishing 500 last week, coming in at 2-2. Last week for week 8, I ended up going 1-1. Like I said, last week, 500. I ended up going 2-2.
You didn't go to hell. You went to purgatory, my friend.
I forgot all about purgatory.
Purgatory. A little detour on the way to paradise.
What do you mean by that?
I'll show you.
So, like I said, I'm taking the Titans plus 1.5 in this spot.
Mayfield to Evans again in the 5. Why?
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Despite everything we've seen with the growing pains for Kenny Pickett and that Steelers offense. So, like I said, I'm taking them at a field goal in this spot.
One last chance for the Packers. Love throws, end zone, intercepted, and it's over.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for.
And I'm taking the Niners, laying them at a field goal here at -3, and I'm feeling pretty confident about that.
Purdy on the roll. Has his check wide open. How about a fullback touchdown?
Finger licking good special.
But wait, there's more.
That's why I got emotionally hedged and take the Cowboys in this spot. It's such a lofty spread.
Definitely won't do that. First and goal. Here's Dowdle. And he's in. Touchdown, Dallas.
It's good. That's good shit right there.
Welcome back to the Delusional Giants Fan Podcast. But oh, wait a second. Not so delusional last week. I've been saying it for the past 3-4 weeks. I'd been stuck in sports betting purgatory, couldn't get myself out of a rut. I'd been hitting 500 week after week, was looking for that winning week, and lo and behold, week 10 gave that to me. Finally came around, finally got back into the win column there, which puts me up back into the green on the season as well. So I am feeling great this week. Last week, I ended up going 3-1, which put me up 2 units on the week. And on the year, that gets me to 23, 21-1. And on the season, like I said, I'm finally back in the green, up a unit and a half on the year. So I've been fighting for that winning week. Finally got it. Finally feeling good. And fading the wall of shame and my boys in blue was one of the reasons that got me there. So like I said, We've had our delusional moments, but fortunately last week was not one of those. And Bog, you are now starting to fall into the same position I was in. This is your second week going 500, and last week it ended up being 2-2, so a push on the units there. And on the season, that gets you to 22, 19-1, keeping you at 7 units up on the year. So despite a couple weeks, still stuck at 500, you're still up big on the year, so you got to be feeling good. And give our listeners a recap of the Week 10 games and where our picks were last week in case they missed it.
Yeah, man, I think overall we had a pretty good week. I know you finally got over that hump, so that was great to see. We started off with the Panthers at plus 3.5. That was my pick on Thursday night. Panthers started off strong, and then, of course, they turned into the Panthers. So blew the lead. However, they lost by 3, but they covered, so I'm glad that I got them at 3.5. Moving on to the Sunday games, the game in Frankfurt, the early game on Sunday, I had the Patriots plus 2 against the Colts. Mac Jones, what are we doing here? What are we doing? The guy was wide open. I feel confident in that pick still. I would take it again. I think the Patriots should have won that game. They had multiple chances too, and they just blew it. So thank you, Mac Jones, for that one.
Jones on the play fake. Intercepted!
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Then we had, you had 49ers -3 against the Jags. That was a very, very comfortable win. I know, just like you said, Niners were primed to make a comeback here against the Jaguars team that had a lot of easy wins. So good job on that. Niners, easy win. And then ran into some trouble. You got the Titans plus 1.5 against the Bucks. I saw where you were coming from with that pick. If Titans got things going, could have been different. But yeah, Bucks handled them pretty easily. And then going on to one of my games, I had the Browns plus 6 against the Ravens. That was free. Just kidding. That wasn't free. The Browns pulled through. They got a crazy win. They didn't just cover, but they won the game flat out right on a field goal. And they were down the entire game. I mean, Ravens were covering for the whole game until like the last few minutes in the fourth. So that was great to see. And then you had the Steelers -3 against the Packers. That came pretty close. That came very, very close. The Packers could have pulled through, and then Jordan Love threw the pick on that final play to put the game out of reach. And then I had the Seahawks -6.5 against the Commanders. Seattle, let me tell you, what's happening with your defense there? I mean, I thought you got Leonard Williams, your defense is supposed to be underrated, and you just give up, a 3rd and 10, 45-yard touchdown on 3rd and 10?
3rd down and 10. Howell scanning the field, throwing over the middle. It's caught at the 15. De'Ami Brown, he'll take it to the house for the touchdown.
You can take yourself out of this existential nightmare.
So, could have covered there, but Seattle, you got to figure it out. And then to wrap it up, you had the Cowboys -16 against our boys here. That was very free. I know they went by like 32, so, no sweat bet there. So pretty good week overall, and let's move on to week 11 here.
Yeah, definitely no harm, no foul when you're coming in at 500. So even though you were hoping for a little bit better luck on some of those picks last week, Mac Jones, you're a loser. Jeez, you deserve to get benched after that one, bud. That was an abysmal throw. But like I was saying, 500, no harm, no foul there. So definitely a solid week for the both of us, despite, the little bit of a sports betting purgatory that we've both kind of been dipping in and out of as of late. But like I said, fortunately, I got back in the win column, so that was huge. And moving on to the very first pick of our no-hedge slate here, we've got the Arizona Cardinals going on the road into Houston to play the Texans. This is a 1 o'clock game, and this game opened up at +4. Still sitting at that figure in favor of the Cardinals in that spot. And right now, the big money is sitting on the Cardinals in this spot. They're getting 71% of the bets and 72% of the money. But despite that big money, I'm going to be back in the Texans in this spot. I'm not going to lie, out of all of my picks on the slate for the Week 11 schedule this week, this is definitely one of my more sketchier games. But essentially, I am back in the Texans in this spot just based off of everything I've seen recently. CJ Stroud, what more can I say that that everybody else has already been saying? The kid is absolutely balling right now. He is looking phenomenal behind that Texans O-line, just absolutely slinging it. I'm pretty sure over the past couple weeks, all their receivers are getting into the 100-yard receiving category on the day. So they're just absolutely balling out. And when it comes to the Cardinals, I mean, look, they've obviously had a tricky year working with Josh Jobs for, the majority of this season. Now finally getting Kyler back. They got a win under their belt last week. That was big. But I really wasn't all too impressed with that game against the Falcons. I think that the Falcons have kind of been slipping up as of late. They're really not this impressive team that everybody made them out to be from where they were earlier in the season. So in this spot, I'm just backing who I think is a better team here. Now, granted, getting them at -4 is a little bit sketchy, since this could come down to a field goal. Now that the Cardinals have Kyler back, one of the biggest things I'm scared about in this game is Kyler's ability to scramble outside of the pocket, avoid danger. And I think that, especially with the Texans secondary being weaker, the weaker of the two from the defensive side of the ball, that could be going against me this week. But overall, I just think they're the better team in this spot. So I'm going to take the Texans here at -4 and just hope that they could win this game handily by a touchdown, or, hopefully even more, and make this a no sweat bet. So back at the Texans in that spot. Don't really mind that there. And moving on to our first joint pick of the week, Bog, we've got the Bears going on the road into Detroit to play the Lions. This game opened up at +7.5 and has since shifted to +9.5 in the Bears' favor. And despite that line movement, Bears are getting a lot of sharp action right now. They're only getting 22% of the bets, but 73% of the money. So they're handling a lot of the float there. But Bog, we're not letting the sharps get to our head in this spot. Give the people our breakdown for the Lions in this spot and why we're backing them below 10 and -9.5 at that key figure.
Yeah, that's really not much to say here. I mean, Lions are playing like one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They just dropped 41 on the Chargers. That game was awesome. Lions are hot. They're firing all cylinders. Bears, I don't care if Justin Fields plays. He sucks. Tyson Bagent sucks. Their whole team sucks. Sorry, Chicago is just the truth. I'm taking the Lions here at -9.5. I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna beat this bet down too much more than that. I just think that they're the better team right now. Yes, what we saw last week, a little bit suspect on the defensive side of the ball, but again, that's Herbert and the Chargers, man. That team can ball out. I'm really not gonna take that performance from their defense and let it skew my pick for this week. In this spot, Lions are gonna be handling the Bears. In the event that the Bears cover, whatever. Don't even mind it there because this is just the better pick in this spot. Take the Lions -9.5. Much better team on both sides of the ball. Even if they get Justin Fields back, should be a little bit sketchy after, having been on the bench all these weeks with that injury. So we're taking them right there. Really not sweating that pick too much. And moving on to another one of our joint picks here, Bog. We have got the Dallas Cowboys going on the road into Carolina that play the Panthers. This game opened up at -6.5, and bettors wasted no time jumping on the Cowboys in this spot. It has since shifted all the way to -10.5. But again, despite the line movement, sharps are taking a bite at the Panthers in this spot. They're only getting 13% of the bets, but 38% of the money. So Bog, again, take it away for why we're backing the Cowboys in this spot. And do want to mention we are getting the Cowboys at a little bit better of a figure than where they're sitting at right now. We even bought the spread down just a little bit to get it below that key figure at 10. We're taking the Cowboys at -9.5. So again, Bog, take it away on our analysis for this game.
Yeah, again, another game where there's nothing much to say. I mean, the Cowboys, you just saw what they did to the Giants, to Tommy DeVito. Like, poor Tommy, man. The guy got harassed in the pocket. So I think they're probably going to do the exact same thing to Bryce Young. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if Frank Reich gets fired after this game because the Panthers are one of the worst teams in football. They're just as bad as the Giants at this point. Meanwhile, Giants have a third-string QB, and they have the first overall pick from the draft. So I think the Cowboys are going to handle them pretty easily. At least they should.
Right. Yeah, and usually in spots like this, it's a little bit sketchy taking a team that's coming off such a dominant blowout win. But from what we see year after year, I feel like the Cowboys just love to beat down on shitty teams. And the Panthers are a shitty team. No disrespect to Bryce Young, but like you said, I just don't see it with this kid. Whether it's the system, whether it's him, mixture of both, I'm not sure. But again, when it comes down to my bets and what I'm feeling confident in, I love the Cowboys in this spot. I think, especially with how you're seeing the Eagles, they really aren't slipping up this year in the loss column. They've only got one on the season. Every single win matters for the Cowboys. This is a spot they're not going to overlook this game. They're going to come out, look to do the same thing they did at home against the Giants last week. I think that they absolutely steamrolled the Panthers in this spot. And obviously you're in agreement there, Bog. So we are taking them. We think this is another no sweat pick on the week, despite it being a large line there. And moving on to our last joint pick of the week, another one of these 1 o'clock games. We have got the Chargers going on the road into Green Bay to play the Packers. This game opened up at -2.5 and has since slightly shifted up to -3 in the Chargers' favor. And the Chargers are laying 78% of the bets here. But again, a little bit of sharp action. Sharps are all over these teams that just have no business taking any bets this week because the Panthers are getting 39% of the money. The Packers, are getting 39% of the money, 22% of the bets, if I didn't mention that. So Sharps, again, are taking a little bit of the action on the Packers in this spot, but we don't see that. We think the Chargers are going to run away with this game. So, Bog, again, tell the people why we're backing them at -3 in this spot on the road.
Yeah, I'm surprised the spread is so low for the Chargers. I think they're a lot better than the Packers, especially coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Lions. I mean, they dropped 38 on the Lions. That's pretty impressive for the Chargers. Their offense is, one of the better ones in the league. Now, Packers defense is kind of underrated. I just don't see Jordan Love doing anything. I know he kind of had a bounce back week last week, but still ended up losing. So maybe he's hungry. I don't know. I just think Chargers are a better team, and I'm taking them at -3, and we both are.
Yeah, yes, sir. Just the better team. So we're going to take that, not even sweat it. But I will say some of the warning factors behind this game. Chargers defense, they are very, very suspect. They are the sole reason that this team is under 500 this year. So if Jordan Love's able to do what he did last week against the Steelers defense, which that Steelers defense, much better than this Chargers defense, and Jordan Love was able to beat him over the top on some key third downs, if you're able to eliminate those big plays, Jordan Love did not look that great again last week. He really hasn't impressed all that much this season. So we just need the Chargers to come out similar to how they did against the Jets and just run away with this game. Clearly, they have the much, much better offense, one of the better offenses in the league, like you said. So when you're getting the much better team at a field goal, it's like, yeah, I see where the Sharps are coming from. This could be one of those spots where everything just flips and goes against them. But personally, we're not seeing it in this spot. We're going to take the Chargers at a field goal, laying 3. And again, just a better team. Don't overthink that game right there. And moving on to one of my other solo picks on the week here. This one is going to move us into the 4 o'clock slate for this Sunday. We have got the Tampa Bay Bucks going on the road into San Fran to play the Niners. And this game opened up at plus 7.5 in the Bucks' favor. And again, bettors wasted no time on this one. Jumped all over the Niners in this spot. Got the spread all the way up to 11.5 in the Bucks' favor. And right now, again, we're just seeing the Sharps taking a lot of action on a bunch of suspect teams this week. The Bucks are getting 12% of the bets, but 43% of the money. And again, I mean, just going back to, our breakdown for all these other games, I just think the Sharps are really overthinking it this week. Why do you want to take stake in a bunch of teams that are just clearly outmatched in these spots? Yeah, Baker and that offense headed by Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they've been moving the ball recently. Props to them. Good on them. But again, they haven't really been doing it against too impressive of defensive units. So now they got to go on the road into San Francisco and play this completely revamped Niners defense, coming off a huge win, coming off the bye, which, with how we saw them play in Jacksonville, that was absolutely crucial for them. I think I'm giving the edge to Trevor Lawrence and the Jags offense than I am to Baker and the Bucks offense. So you're telling me that I could get the Niners here just under or at 10 in this spot? I think that they're going to run away with this game, absolutely hose the Bucks here. So I'm taking the Niners at minus 10, especially with what we've seen with the Niners offense getting a little bit of that resurgence. They really play much better when their defense is helping them out. And that's what we saw last week. When that defense is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, Brock Purdy and that offense just rolls. I think that's going to repeat this week. Taking the Niners minus 10. Hopefully going with all these square picks doesn't end up burning us this week. But I've made money in the past NFL seasons just going with my gut and not listening to too much of those sharp narratives. So this is another spot where I'm doing that here. And Bog, moving on to the Monday Night Football game. This hands down has got to be the best game of the week and maybe one of the best games of the season here. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles going on the road into Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This game opened up at +3 in the Eagles' favor. It's still sitting at that number there. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a little bit more line movement here. I know the line dipped down to 2.5 for the Eagles at one point, but like I just mentioned, it came back up to 3. The Eagles are getting 60% of the bets and 63% of the money. So they're getting a lot of the big stake right now. Maybe a little bit of that sharp action is on the Chiefs. Tough to tell in these spots when the money and the bets are so symmetrical in this spot. But Bog, this is one of your solo picks to end off the show here. You're going to be back in the Chiefs at -3 in this spot. So tell the people why you like the Chiefs at home, despite some of the suspect performances we're seeing from Patrick Mahomes in this offense, which we're really not used to seeing year after year.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was probably the best game of the week. Obviously, like you said, Monday Night Football and Kansas City doesn't get better than that. Now, originally, I was kind of on the Eagles here. I saw value taking the Eagles. However, after further analysis, I think these teams are very similarly built. I just give a slight advantage here to the Chiefs because they do have the better quarterback, more experienced quarterback, and they do have the more experienced head coach. And also, they do have a better defense. Maybe not as good of a run defense as the Eagles, but overall, their defense is a lot better. I think this Eagles defense is nothing special, especially their secondary and their linebacking core. They're very slow. I think Patrick Mahomes is absolutely going to dice them up, or at least he should. So I'm going with the Chiefs here. I'm going to Chiefs -3 on Monday night. And that will conclude our Week 11 segment here. So, guys, again, if you like the show, please like, follow, and subscribe. It really helps us out. Go ahead and comment if you disagree or agree. I don't care. We'd be happy to chop it up. And that'll wrap it up here. See you next week on No Hedge.